With so much different advice out there, what actually makes a good buy-to-let investment? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to be covering in today's video. So what I specifically wanted to focus on is actually my criteria. This isn't to say it needs to be the same as yours, but maybe if you can follow my thought process and then apply it to your area based on your risk profile. So if we look at quantitative data, that is a mouthful in itself. This is all about the numbers that we're going to be looking at. So my obsession in property at the start of this journey was about getting all of your money out of the deals, buy, refurbish, refinance. But actually, as the economy has changed, that's got a lot harder to do. And actually, I stopped becoming obsessed with it. So people would be like, oh, I've got 100 and something% return on capital that's left in. So, well, yeah, you've got about £3.50 left in. So actually, your 50 quid a year suddenly gets wiped out. So for me, I don't really obsess about how much money is left in the deal now. It's more about the return that I'm getting on that. I focus on return on capital employed, or ROCE. What this is a return on the cash in the deal. Ideally, what I'm looking at is between 8 and 10%. So this is similar to my clients. Obviously, we have a fee on there, so we have to take account of that. We aim for the 8% for my APG clients, but for us, we're looking for an 8 to 10% return on capital employed. What we're also looking at is historic capital growth of 5%. Now, this capital growth cannot be guaranteed. I guess rent isn't guaranteed, right? But the Doomsday Book was created in 1086, and that's when all of the property prices in the UK has been measured since. And since then, from now, on average, it's grown about 7.9% per annum, or doubled every 10-ish years. Now, the past isn't a guarantee of the future, but I think around 1,000 years is a fair indication of that. And what I'm looking for is really the last 5-ish years, making sure that we're getting around that 5% capital growth. Again, does it guarantee it? No, but if you understand that a majority of your money is actually going to come from the capital growth over the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, then that's going to be an important figure to be looking at. So the next few statistics you can actually find through Lendlord. It's an app that I'll talk about a bit later, and they happen to be today's video's sponsor. So the first thing I'm looking at is crime rate. The average in the UK is 108.2 crimes per 1,000 people in the area, which is pretty staggering, right? But you can do your own research on that. I'm looking for anything around 100 or less per 1,000. That's people in the area as the crime rate. I'm also going to be looking at the unemployment in the area. Again, you can find this data on Lendlord. The national average at the moment is 4.8%. I'd expect that to go up. Personally, I'm looking at less than or equal to 9%. I often find 9% as a threshold to be quite an important one, to be honest, because at that rate, you are actually starting to get some problems with the tenant types in the area. Anything below 9% is absolutely fine. So today's video sponsor is Lendlord. Lendlord is an incredible app and piece of software that you can both get on your phone and on your laptop or computer. And I use this for my entire portfolio analysis. It allows me to analyze properties properly, which you've probably seen in some of my videos, but also allows me to reliably predict the outcome of my long-term property investments. What I also like using it for is periodic reviews from my leveraging point of view and my lending point of view, understanding when rents are due, insurances are due, and maybe when a refinance is coming out. Well, how I like thinking of it as is Experian as for your credit score, but for your property portfolio. So it's a great place for you to get an overview of it, see everything in one place so that you can correctly and predictably assess the current situation and future of your portfolio. If you're interested in this, they've got a free version available right now, and you can get access to this by clicking the link in the description. The final one I like to look at is tenure of property in the area. This is basically who owns it, is it mortgage, outright, etc. And the figure that I use is 50% ownership. So The average across the UK is 30% owned outright and 30% with a mortgage owner occupier. But anything above 50% ownership in an area where somebody is an owner occupier shows to me that there's a strong enough demand for buyers in the area that's going to hopefully contribute to that 5% capital growth. But it's not all just about the numbers. You need to look broader than that and look at the qualitative data as well. So qualitative data is far beyond just the numbers of the property. It's looking at the story around it. And this is really important. So first of all, property type. Okay, specifically what I look at is 2 to 4 bed houses. Now, I'm just going to sweep that in. Typically, it's terrace or semi. This will largely depend on where you actually live. If you live in central London and you're investing in central London, this is obviously going to be a very different property type. But in my area, I'm up in West Yorkshire. I will find 2 to 4 bed houses. I essentially want tenants that want to make my house their home and they want to live in it over a duration. Next thing I'm looking at is there regeneration in the area? Regeneration. This will be infrastructure, motorways, hospitals, schools, local amenities in there as well. I'll write that down, amenities. Now, all of this, does it add to the growth of your property or the current value? No, but certainly to the growth. You know, just think logically about this. Is it close to a motorway? Is it close to getting into town? Are there good train links? So, for example, Wakefield is its own little town as well, but it also has great links into Leeds, one of the major city centres of the north, and it's a powerhouse, right? The easier it is for people to get around, the easier it is for people to get into a motorway, the more likely they are going to want to live there and pay a good rent for your property. The next thing I'm looking at is demand. Now, this can be quantified, and the reason you want to assess this is the likeliness of ongoing, if not growing demand over a period. The easy way of doing this is jumping on Rightmove, and you can do this for sale and for let. And what you want to do is, number one, you search for properties in the area. Let's say you do Kirkstall, which is an area in Leeds. And let's say I search Kirkstall and 2 to 4 bed properties, and there's currently 10 available. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on advanced options and I'm going to click the STC button. What this means is subject to contract. It means it's sold, a price has been agreed and it's in the legal process. And let's say including sold subject to contract, there's 30. Now, how are you analyzing this? Well, there's 30 available and 20, which is the gap in the middle, that have sold, right? So 20 out of 30 is equal to 66%, and that is 66% of properties are already gone in the area. So that shows a strong demand. And then you can compare 2 or 3 areas against this that's going to give you an overall analysis. The final thing, and I think this is really important for me, is it must be existing. For me and my clients, we will not buy a new build property at all. We'll never buy an off-plan property. I'm looking for already existing property that's been there 30, 40 years plus, because it's got more evidence in the market with far more consistency. Whereas with a new build, I just believe with the snagging issues after the follow-up service and the fact I'm going to be paying a massive premium on that, I just try to stay away as much as possible. So that's my qualitative and quantitative research that I like doing and narrowing down my personal buy-to-let criteria. But let me know what you think. What do you look for? What returns are you looking for? What do you look for in your area? And is there anything from a qualitative point of view or a quantitative point of view that I missed out in this video? Let me know in the comments. If you're new to the channel and you got value from this, make sure to destroy the like button. And of course, if you want to find out more about property investing, then make sure to hit the subscribe and the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.